So it's interesting. One thing that's changed within the SEO industry, or at least the way I like to pitch SEO now to companies, is the 20 years ago when I guess I first taught you SEO. It was all
Thank
about
you again.
getting your domain to rank, and I would say probably most of the industry still thinks about it that way. It's all about trying to get your domain to rank. But certainly the way I engage with a lot of clients, or the way I talk about it now with clients, is listen, you want to control as much of the SERP as possible, the search engine results page, as possible, with positivity, right? Stuff that's true about you and positive. So I noticed that a lot of the things you talked about in your fact sheet, or for example, crafting the right LinkedIn profile, right, or crafting the other social media profiles to reflect your credibility and your authenticity. And we see that as equally important, because that's the stuff that's most likely to rank when the search is done, whether it's a company search or an individual search, is that's what's going to show up high, right? So it redoubles the value of crafting the right message and the right asynchronous communication within those profiles. So do you feel like you treat all of those social platforms sort of individually with their own voice, within your framework, or do you sort of think each one needs to be tweaked separately?
You got me as you were formulating your question. I had like two different paths you were going to go down. So let me give you the one that first comes to mind, and that is, and this is the answer. If you guys want the answer to life, universe, and everything, the answer is, what is your customer point of pain? I call it, what is your CPoP? In the interviews of 500 thought leaders, that's the first question I ask. What is that customer point of pain? It's not that you're selling pain. What it demonstrates when you know somebody's CPoP and you know who you serve, A, you know who you serve, i.e. you know who you don't serve. That's as important as knowing who you serve. B, if you say it in such a way, it's not like you're selling. It's like you understand the pain point of those people you're addressing. Now, let me tell you some stats from the research I did. 98% of people could not articulate their CPoP without a little bit of coaching. And this is even after I sent them a 13-minute video on how to prepare, and they got to look at previous interviews. Problem is, we're just not taught this in school. As marketers, we're not taught how to be succinct, how to be focused, how to come up with the right framework. So here's what I'm going to say. If you can articulate a CPoP, a customer point of pain, in 1 to 10 words, it's essentially 1 to 3 seconds. What happens is it becomes shareable. It becomes memorable. And if it's done to somebody who cares about your CPoP, it begs the next question, which is, tell me more. Now, if your company can do that, broad-based, and then your employees that are working with you can do that. And by the way, everyone has a CPoP. Even if it's somebody who's the person who's the supportive person at home, right? They have a CPoP. And if you understand that, it's another way to say it is, how am I of service? And if you understand that, then what happens is how you communicate that effectively changes. And going back to each platform, how I might communicate that on LinkedIn would be different than how I communicate that on Facebook, would be different than how I communicate that on Twitter. That said, all of my messages fall within the framework of my CPoP. Right. And that's the way you need to think about it. And it's, you want to talk to, so I'm going to answer both questions that came to my mind. You want to talk to the audience that cares about you. Right. So this is really clear. Many companies think, man, I got to reach the world because so many people need my stuff. They don't. And you don't. What happens is that community you go after, that audience you go after, are the people that really fall within the framework of that CPoP, of that customer point of pain you address. And the more targeted you could be, the more focused you could be. A, the easier it is for you to reach them. B, the easier it is for them to see you and make a decision that you can help them.